ओं सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्परां। गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णु गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुसाक्षात् परं ब्रह्म तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। ॐ सहना भवतु सहनो भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ओम शांति शांति शांति। बोधमात्रोऽहं ज्ञानात् उपाधिकल्पितो मया एवं विमृशतो नित्यं निर्विकल्पे स्थितिर्मम। In the last class we are discussing Dvaita Mula Aham Dukkham Na Atyanta Asti Tat Tasyasti Bhesajam. So the all problem is related to Dvaita and there is no other medicine other than Advaita Jnanam iti. Now further he says, look, aham bodhamatra asmi. I am someone who is what? I am pure consciousness alone. Not only I am bodhamatra, ajnanat upadhi maya kalpitaha. If I try to look at again, that ajnanat because of due to ignorance. Now what happened? This upadhi maya kalpitaha means, this upadhi means limiting agents have been imagined by me. It is a kalpitam ityartha. That's why evam nityam vimrushata mama. Because of this is what I need to do. Now I need to reflect in this manner. What is that manner? That is what says aham nitya iti. Sorry, I made nityam vimrushata. I made mistake. Nitya vimrushata. What? That I need to constantly, I need to remind myself, me as what? Me as bodham. That previous verse highlighted what? Chidrasam amalaha iti. And not only that, whatever I see, all are projection. And all these upadhis are nothing but projection. So constantly when is being reminded, reflected, that too without any break, then only what happens? He says, look, nirvikalpe sthiti bhavati. Then only the person will be able to abide with one's own self. That is called nirvikalpa, means what? Free from early sort of divisions. In fact, when he say nirvikalpa is nothing called vikalpa rahita. Means aditya atmani drudhanishtha. Because savikalpa, that's why sometimes this Patanjali Yoga Sutra, savikalpaka samadhi, nirvikalpaka samadhi. So in savikalpaka samadhi, there is a chance of getting, carried away or distracted. Whereas in nirvikalpak samadhi, there is no distraction at all. That's why he says, aditye atmani drudhanishtaha iti. The atma, that is aditya, without any second, in that total commitment. And how this commitment comes? He says, look, that commitment because of Jnata, Jnaya, Jnana, Vedasya abhave. Because there is no division, there is no difference between Jnata, the knower, Jnanam, the knowledge, and Jnaya, that is to be known. That's why what happens here, Nirvikalpaka Samadhi, you can say, as per Vedanta here, this verse highlights, ahameva bodhamatra iti nirvikalpaka samadhi. So I am bodha matra. That's why we say this word matra. So matra means, the word matra means sarva upadhi nirasa, means kevalam iti, kevalam bodha swarupam pratibhasate, pratipadyate iti, avabhasase. So that means only that bodha, the knowledge, not necessary knowledge plus. So knowledge plus means what? Then what? Something there is to be known. Again, I am the knower. Because of whose presence the knower, known and to be known is known. So that is indeed me. And once I start avoid with that, then what happens? Then I discover that look, there is nothing to be achieved in this life. This is called nirvikalpaka. No sadhya iti. There is nothing. Because why? I am somebody who is what? Svabhavata siddha. Continuing. Name bodhosti mokshah va bhranti shanto nirashraya ahomayi stitam vishvam vastuto namayi stitam. Again, Raja Janaka says, na bandha na asti, mokshava na asti, bhrantihi iyam nirashraya santa, aho vishwam mayi stitam iva, vastuta na mayi stitam. So that means what? Me bandha na asti. That means what? For me, there is no bondage. Then what about freedom? He says, look, mokshava nasti. There is nothing freedom. Because why? Vyavahara drushtya. We say abhasaya vyavahara drushtya also. I can say that I am bound, I need to be free. Whereas paramartha drushtya atmanah na bandha na moksha. From the truth standpoint, absolute standpoint, atma neither bound nor is free. Because why? Bandha, the bondage is what? Avidya kalpita iti. It is a projection of the ignorance. Now what would be moksha? Moksha is nothing, just tasya nivruti rupaha. Kasya nivruti rupaha? Avidya kalpitaha. Only avidya nivruti. So avidya nivruti iti moksha. So that means what? If I look at that there is bondage and there is freedom. So both bandha and moksha, what happens? Ubhau api vyavahara gocharo iti. Natu vastuta. In reality they don't exist. It is just for transactional sake. So for the transaction, yes, it is required, no doubt in it. That's why again he says, look, the bhranti that I have, bhranti yam nirashraya shanta iti. So that means what? The illusion has already ceased, being without any real basis. Because remember, I have this bhranti, this illusion, because I feed, I nourish with or without my knowledge. And when it doesn't have any ashrayam, it doesn't have any foundation, no support, nothing, how long can it survive? How long can it stand? That's why he says, look, Atma Jnanat, because of the knowledge of oneself, Esha Bhranti Nivartate. Definitely this Bhranti is going to be vanished. Not only that, because in reality, Vastutaha, this Bhranti Satta Nasti. The existence of Bhranti doesn't exist. That's why he says, look, because of this reason, again he says, look, oh, so that means what? There is a Vishmaya, there is a wonder. What? When Ajnana Nivritti is taken place. Like after so long darkness in the room, suddenly electricity comes. So whole light, the whole house is flooded with light. What you say? Oh! So this Vishmaya, or the best part is, do you know what? I would rather say this way. Do you know? You look at, there is darkness, everywhere is light. In your room, only light not there. Or in your house, light is not there. So all of you are fighting with each other. What is this? No, everything. Then suddenly you discover, do you know what? You people have not, the main switch, you had put it off, bring it down, but you have forgot to again lift it. And when you realize, so this, okay, that's the right example. What a silly mistake I did. I am now cursing anybody and everybody. He says, look, yes, maistitam vishwam iti. From vyavahara drishtya, I am the adhara of everything. That's why you call as, Atma sarvadhara. I sustain everything. I support everything. And because of which, tasmin vishwam stita iba bhati. As though, remember this thing, as though the whole universe is in me, it shines as though, but in reality what happens? It says, look, vastutah na mai stitamiti. In reality, paramarthatah, atma niravayavaha asangaha iti. So from absolute standpoint, what happened? No. So that means what? He wants to highlight, look, adhara adheya sambandha nasti iti. So that is one sambandha called adhara adheya. So that is a beautiful joke we goes. Puja Swamiji used to say this story very nicely. Because I am just taking one small portion of that story. Let you not go in details. They say, Tarkikas. So logicians, what they do? Always thinking. So the fellow was asked to get some, oil those days. So those days when they go to oil, they will get in the leaf. Not necessary, they will have, patram and all these things. So in the leaf, they make it like, we call dona, so like a cup, very nicely. Oil will not spill, nothing. So he went to buy some oil. So the fellow gave oil with the leaf. So he, in his mind, he started coming, while holding. Is this cup, is adharam? Then oil becomes adheya. One supports, one is supported. Then suddenly says, look, if this leaf supports and this oil is supported, now if there is no oil, do you think that this cup made up of leaf will stay in my hand? Because wind will take away. So that means in reality, oil is adhara. Because of oil, the plate or cup, this leaf cup is in the hand. Now he got confused. That is how the logician, okay? First they enjoy the logic. Then they get trapped in the logic in such a, they get confused. And when they get confused, what they do? They have to experiment. They don't believe anybody, okay? Because everything they want to experiment. Unless they experiment, they experience, experiment, whatever what you want to say, okay? They will never, come to the conclusion. So that fellow wanted to experiment, experience both. So what he did? Now, whether this cup, paper cup is adharam, is supported or it supports. This is the concept, okay? Finally, what he did? If, in reality, if it is what? Supported, then wind. But if it supports, really it supports. Because he gave me this, or else I did not ask for this. He told me I carry this thing because it will support. Now, let me see. So what he did? Got so confused, oil, then he tilted it to understand, so that I can make the paper empty, so that whether wind is going to take it away or not. That is what called adhara adheya sambandha here. So in life, sometimes we break our head whether family is supporting me or I support family. Sometimes one thinks, no, I only support family. Sometimes, no, family supports me. Then what you do? You get confused. Sometimes out of confusion you go to sleep, which is better. And if you want to experiment, experience, only disaster. This is opposite, okay? Coming back to the topic here. So, vastutah na mai sthitam paramarthatah atma niravayavah asangah iti. So that means in Atma, so Atma is neither Adhara nor Adheya. So this Adhara Adheya Sambandha Nasti. So when this is not there, so what I need to understand? I need to look. Na bandha na moksha na jagatah vastavika sthiti. In reality, there is no bandha, there is no bondage, there is no liberation, moksha, including that there is no universe at all. In fact, in day-to-day life, universe changes. It is not the same, but in your mind, you hold on to the same. That's why the conflict. And let me not confuse you people in this regard. That's why what I need to do? Avidyayam iti bandha moksha vyavahara. Because of ignorance. So there is the transaction of both bandha and moksha. Whereas jnana drishtya paramarthatya, they don't exist at all. Atma only sakshi asanga iti. Continuing. Sasariram idam vishwam na kinchit iti nischitam suddha chinmatra atmacha tat kasmin kalpanadhuna idam shariram Vishwam na kinchit iti nishchitam atma cha suddham chinmatra asti adhuna tat kasmin kalpana bhavet. So that means what? Says very nicely, if we try to look at that, idam sasariram idam vishwam na kinchit iti nishchitam iti. Starting with this Shariram, and of course this entire universe is nothing at all. Because, please understand, from Vyavahara Drishtya, there is body, there is mind, there is everything. That's why when you close your eyes, the best thing what happens? If you are closing your eyes at all, first you lose the sense of time. Then slowly you lose the sense of place, you get into your place. Then slowly you lose the sense of your body. Depends upon how long you spend time. That's why he says, look, deha sahitam yadidam jagatam drishyate tat paramarthata na kinchit. Even though all these exist, they appear, but in reality they are not. So then what happens? How is it possible? Because for that you need what? To come to this knowledge, nischita jnanam. You need what? Shastra acharya upadesha. So through this shastra acharya upadeshana eva, and not only upadeshana eva, not only jnana phalena eva. It's not only jnanam, jnana phalena, because jnanam is one thing, jnana phalam is another thing. You listen to the class, that does not mean that because you listen to the class you are liberated, okay? So that means what? Google must be most liberated. Because Google has got more information than you, okay? That fellow is listening to again and again. I remember those days, when tape recorder was there, okay? Somebody says, okay, I am listening to, yeah, tape recorder listens, not only listens, records also, those days, okay? So nowadays everything is Google. We have to change the. So because you are listening to the class, because you are studying something or studied something, that does not mean. So you need to have a jnana phalam. And this jnana phalam will be explained or translated into your day-to-day life. I remember beautiful concept today. I was going through a nice concept. So there was a rich person. He had 2 children. And he thought of bringing them in a humble way. So when he wanted to bring them in humble way, always he used to say, look, be humble, be nice, be kind. But somehow wife was observing something is not okay. Especially with younger one. But what mother could do? But father was very strict. No. You people have to be humble. Even if he comes across anytime the children are rude with the staffs, with other people, the father used to get really, really angry. Because he was a self-made businessman. He could establish his empire. And he was, of course, authoritative. But now, in the process, the elder one became very soft, very nice, gentle, whereas the younger one became rude, very tough. This mother neither can talk to husband. One day approached a guru. I have some problem. I want to talk about my family. Guru said, okay, what happened? Look, we have 2 children. My husband always stresses like children should be humble, nice. But I notice now here, my elder son is good, whereas young one is not that. The Guru smiled. He said, look, this is the problem. People think, or especially your husband think, like he has got industries and whatnot. He thinks family is industry. So he can produce whatever he wants. And he wants to replicate. It's not like that. And especially children, They don't listen to the parents. In fact, they follow parents. Whatever you say, now, if I look at very carefully, maybe the elder son has observed father very carefully and has come to the conclusion, yes, father says something, but he is rude, he is very tough. Now, many people talk behind, let me not go or behave along like my father. So he had some maturity, that's why he could come down. Whereas the younger one started to think, look, how my father is not commanding, demanding respect, why not me commanding and demanding respect? That's why he became rude. So he imitated, whereas the first one tried to understand. So in short, it is not an industry to replicate, to reproduce, because raw materials are entirely different. Even though both of you are parents, you can say like, oh, both the raw material are good or same. No, it is not at all. External raw material, including body raw material, is not same because one is fat, one is thin. And of course, the wiring, the software, what we call as a subtle body, don't ask. So then, when the raw materials are different, how can you give the same shape, same size to the both? It is not possible. That's why it is better what? Ask the child, ask your husband or talk to your husband. Let him give freedom to understand what they are doing and what they are not doing. Instead of asking a child, do this, don't do that, it is better to give freedom and guide them from a distance and making them to understand what they are doing right or what they are not doing. Once they understand the difference and they start looking at the freedom, sometimes they will abuse freedom, no problem. But once they start understanding the difference, then only they will be choosing how to behave, what to behave, and what not to. How it happens, same thing also here we need to look at very nicely, carefully says, look, now when I look at my life, in this idam shariram vishwam na kinchit iti nishchitam atma cha suddham chinmatra asti. So Atma is nothing, the self is what? Chinmatra, is a pure consciousness alone. And because of that reason, what he says, look, aduna tat kasmin kalpana iti. So that means what? If Atma is Suddha Chaitanya, now where can be any projection? Only projection can exist when I look at myself as Adhara or Adheya. So that's why here Raja Janaka highlights Adhuna. Now I understand that there is no projection exist in me. That's why he puts, where can any projection exist now? How is it possible that there can be any projection? If at all there is a projection, that means what? There is ajnanam. Because ajnanam is connected to what? Projection. You can see for yourself in day-to-day life. The more you project, the more you are ignorant. Or I would rather say, the more you are ignorant, the more you project. That's the right way of putting it. And more, you see, when you are in your projected world all the time, so that means what? You are nourishing your ignorance. Or you choose to be ignorant. And when you choose to be ignorant, you are no more ignorant, you become arrogant. More of it will say. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnahat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadhaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.